Welcome to Blueprints for Brilliance Coaching Insights, a podcast by coaches for coaches. Our guests share their hard-won wisdom to help you grow your coaching business and create a life of success. So get ready to unlock the blueprints to your success. So welcome everyone to our newest podcast. We're so excited to have a special guest here from Denmark. Her name is Liza Lomax, and she owns Love Your Body Coaching. So thank you so much for joining us today, Liza. I think it's late where you are today.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's not super late. It's about 5 p.m. the same day.
Yeah.
Still light outside. Yes.
But isn't it fabulous how we can connect with people all around the world with Zoom and just have these amazing conversations?
Yes, very much. It's just amazing. I made so many connections from all over the world using Zoom. I started using Zoom before Zoom became popular during COVID. And it was so funny how people were like, what is this Zoom thing? And I'm like, it's something I've been using for a long time.
Yeah, same here because we've had a virtual team for a long time. So as soon as Zoom kind of came out, because we started outsourcing 16 years ago, we're like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing since sliced bread. So
Pandemic gave people more confidence to be on Zoom, on camera.
Yes.
You know, that because before that, it was very difficult to get people to book a meeting with you on Zoom. They were, oh no, I don't want to be on camera.
So good things often come out of bad situations. Well, I am excited to hear your journey into coaching. What was that path like for you?
A lot of what I do is based on my own personal transformational story. I was a high achiever. I was a go-go. I was a perfectionist. I had to be the best and do the best and do all the things right and correct and be successful in everything. And I was continuously burning myself out and was overwhelmed and stressed and had this high anxiety. I was an emotional eater. I had really bad negative self-talk, negative self-body image, you name it, mindset. I struggled with eating disorders and toxic relationships and body dysmorphia. And I've been 100 pounds and I've been over 300 pounds, and it never mattered where I was on the scale, no pun intended. I was really unhappy with who I saw now. And so even after losing 105 pounds, still went back to the same habits, the same beliefs, the same patterns, the same triggers, all the stresses. And it wasn't really until I had this, whether you want to call it a come to Jesus moment or higher source, higher universe, whoever you want to believe, whatever deity, I really believe that God was telling me I needed to change and something had to give. And so it set me on my path of finding myself, finding my authenticity, and really putting myself and my needs first. Because we are so conditioned to put ourselves on the back burner and to take care of everybody else around us and not prioritize ourselves. And so it sent me on that journey of really finding myself and loving myself and taking care of myself. And then it was like, people were telling me, why aren't you telling your story? Why aren't you saying these things? Why aren't you coaching in this realm? And I was like, oh, that's a good idea. This was, 15 years ago. And I was like, yeah, I think I've been through that. I understand how long it takes. I understand what it takes. So why am I not helping other people go through this? And so a lot of what I do is based on my personal story.
So that is, it's your story is like so many of us, right? Like for most of us, we eat when we're happy, we eat when we're sad, we eat when we're mad. Like emotional eating is such a big part of our culture. But also, I think eating is a part of our everyday lives. When I moved to Florida, the best thing about it was I didn't know a single person. Well, I knew one person actually, but I had to get out and meet people and make friends. And I like to say, in this county, you could network 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but it all revolves around food, all of it. And not always, healthy food. So yeah, I think in our culture, like again, eating for emotions is normal. And then having food at every event, and sometimes we don't know what to do with ourselves if socializing doesn't revolve around food. So I think what you're doing is amazing. So when you had that kind of that calling, what was the biggest thing in your life that transformed you? Because obviously it was a journey, but where do you feel like you hit that point where you could love yourself enough to make the changes permanent?
I will tell you the biggest thing was looking at myself in the mirror and realizing, not thinking that it was me, and actually saying to somebody, who was that person in the mirror? because I struggled with body dysmorphia. So when you struggle with something like that, you see a distorted version of yourself. You don't see what other people see. And I was like, who's that beautiful person in the mirror? And them saying, that's you, silly. And I'm like, what? That's me? Oh my goodness. And to be able to look at myself in the mirror, naked even, and love what I saw was magical. That was like, oh, you know, I mean, it's like these parts. I truly accepted who I was, no matter what.
And what got you to that point?
Oh, when I first started on this journey, I did all the things that you think you're supposed to do, go out and do the therapy and read all the self-help books. And I'm sure you know this. I mean, 10, 15 years ago, it wasn't as prominent as it is now. It's like that thing, you were hiding in the corner of the Barnes and Noble, hoping somebody didn't see you because they're probably thinking, what's wrong with that person? Like reading a self-help book. Nowadays, it's praise. It's like, yay, self-development, self-help. And so I did all the things. I did all the things that I thought I was supposed to do, but it was really that turning point of realizing that I had continuously been going outside of myself for happiness, outside of myself for fulfillment, to change something about myself. When really realizing that it was an inside out job, I had to take care of what was going on inside, all the beliefs, the habits, the stories, the sabotaging behaviors, all the things that triggered me. I had to take care of those things first before I could change the outside, if that's what I desired. Because I thought I did. I thought I had to change, be something on the outside, because we're conditioned to believe that the exterior is more important than the interior. Like what you look like is more important. And so that was a huge turning point, realizing that, I had to do the icky work. I had to do the inner stuff. Ooh, that feels icky. That feels gross. That feels fearful. But I knew that if I didn't do that and if I didn't work on it, I was never going to change. And I probably wouldn't even be in this world. And that was a huge turning point.
That's amazing. And so tell us about how you work with your clients and maybe share some of their successes.
Yes. So I do one-on-one, like you're saying, we use Zoom. I use Zoom because you never know where I'm in the world. I actually belong to a networking group, and I'm known as the Where's Waldo. And like, where's Waldo? Where in the world is Liza say? And so it's kind of a joke, but I can be anywhere in the world. My clients are everywhere in the world. So I use Zoom. I work one-on-one. I do group. I also have courses. I'm on every social media platform you can think of. So I'm everywhere. And so I really work with anybody, anywhere. I work predominantly with women. As we know, most women struggle mostly with body image, negative self-image, mindset, emotional eating. But when COVID hit, the percentage of men dealing with those struggles went through the roof. I noticed that men were coming to me and saying, hey, can you help me with this? I was like, yes, I'm more than welcome to do that for you. And again, like I said, I work wherever, whenever, however, whenever you're available. I'm everywhere. I always tell people I'm here for you. However I can support you, I'm here.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. So just share with us a little bit about some of your clients, obviously without names, but I feel like everyone who's been coaching for a long time has interesting stories about clients that just to see them transform is mind blowing on the inside and the out. They just really get it.
My favorite story, and I get goosebumps every time I tell this story. I worked with a lady who at the time, I think she was about 57, 58. And she'd gone her entire life actually having her, now let me say this. She had her picture taken, but she was always hiding in the back. She was always hiding, or she always volunteered to take her pictures. She hated her pictures, anything that she was in front of the camera. And we started working together, and I gave her some tools. I gave her some techniques. She was resistant at first. Look at myself in the mirror, look at myself in pictures. I'm ugly. I'm sad, disgusting. I don't like it. It's gross. Like I can't stand looking at myself in a photo. And I remind her, I was thinking, like, how many memories have you missed how many situations have you lost because of all of this trauma that you've belonged to? I remember the day that she ended up doing some of the techniques. She was resistant, but she ended up doing some of them. I remember the day that she called me up and she actually sent me a message and she said, I don't know what you did. And I was like, what do you mean? What's that do to you? Oh my gosh. Like my mind, like human brain was like going all different directions. I'm like, did I do what I do? And she said, I had my picture taken today. And the first thing I saw was, I am beautiful. My mouth just dropped. I was like, and I get goosebumps. So I tell that story because I'm like, that's my story. To be able to look at yourself in the mirror, reflection, whatever it is, and finally see your true self and be like, love your true self. It was just like, oh my gosh. I'm like, you're kidding me. Like, this is amazing. This is wonderful. And still to this day, she sends me pictures with a caption, look how beautiful I am. And this has been, I was done coaching with her 5-6 years ago. So this is quite a while ago. And it's just like, it warms my heart because I'm like, that was my story. And that's so many others' story of missing out on opportunities, missing memories, based on because you think you need to look or dress or say and act and do a certain way. And then you miss out on so many things and so many experiences in life.
That's fascinating. We have a lot of our clients come to us because they want to start a YouTube channel and we help them with all of that. But obviously, we can't make them get on camera. And it's so fascinating because so many of them do have to do some inner work because they want to be invisible, right? They want to hide, they want to not be seen. And it's so powerful to see people overcome that. Unlike you, we don't really do any coaching around that. But usually, what we try to say to our clients is hopefully your desire to help people will override your fear of being seen. But it is hard, especially for women. Our generation, we're definitely older than you. And our generation is, we didn't grow up with social media. We didn't grow up with a camera in our hand. So we don't tend to live out loud. And I think there's something about being authentic to ourselves. Jeannie and I still don't live out loud when it comes to social media in a lot of ways, but we really truly like helping people. So we're willing to show up and do interviews like this and do our talking head videos or whatever it takes because we want to help people. But what would you just say to someone who couldn't quite get there? Like they have a powerful message, they can make great impact in the world. What would you say to them as far as deserving to be seen and maybe direct them as to what they should do to make that happen?
So there's so many things and so many tools that they can utilize, but it's really just an every second of every day kind of thing. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. We are in these human bodies for a limited time. This is our home. This is the only home we've got. In helping them to realize that if they want to stay in their home longer, they need to do the inner work. They need to shift those beliefs and habits and stories that they've been telling themselves about themselves for so long, or else they're not going to move forward. And, a lot of us, you'll know this. It's like our businesses would not thrive without us. Our businesses wouldn't exist without us. So making sure that we are taking care of ourselves first so that our businesses can thrive and flourish, so our relationships around us can thrive and flourish. And so it's a daily practice of reminding yourself, allowing yourself permission to say, I am worthy, I am good enough, I can do this, I am this, whatever it is that you want to project. It's a daily process. I still to this day, I wake up every single morning and I rattle off as many things as I'm grateful for. Because quantum physics says if you can stay in a gratitude level for at least 17 seconds, you can maintain that vibrational level for a long time. And of course, we're human. We're going to have these little dips. So thinking about gratitude again. And same goes for love, same goes for compassion. So it's a daily practice of reminding yourself. And again, allowing yourself permission to step into that person that you want to become.
Yeah, and I guess you have to make that decision. It has to be a decision made to say, I'm ready to move forward. And then I'm assuming that's different for everyone. What is your motivation? What is your inspiration?
What is your why? Yes.
What's the why? Yeah.
It's a constant to make a conscious intention or conscious decision to make a change in your life. And if you're not ready, the change doesn't ever happen.
Yeah.
You have to be ready. Yeah.
So do you work with your clients? I'm assuming you work with them one-on-one.
Yeah, I do group coaching and I do groups. I do a little bit of group in the springtime and the fall time. Springtime is usually like last right before summer and swimsuit season's right around the corner and the self-consciousness about all that or getting into summer clothes. And then usually the fall is okay, well, now we're have some downtime. The kids are getting back to school or whatever's going on. We're getting into winter. We don't want to maybe go into the winter feeling a little frumpy or whatever it is, just having a little bit, taking care of a few LBs, lose a couple pounds, just gonna get you in that the right state. And it's not about losing the weight. It's more of a mindset. If you want to, like the winter times, we get so depressed. We get really just because we're so cooped up and it's cold and it's depending on where you are in the world. But in most places it's cold and it's winter and it's dark. We get into this really rest mode and having some tools in your toolbox to get you through those different seasons is really what my programs are based on.
Yeah, I love that. So if somebody wants to find out more about your programs, how can they do that?
You can find me anywhere. My website is lizalomax.com. Super easy. Facebook. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Pinterest, LinkedIn. I'm everywhere.
Love
Not
that.
just in the world, but on the social medias.
I am. I love social media. I think it's fun. And I think it's a great way to get your message out there and for you to get heard and acknowledged. And I think it's the best platform to promote any business out there because there's always going to be somebody out there that resonates with your stuff. Always.
Yeah, I love that. So we always wrap up with one last question. If you had a tip to make the world a better place, what would that be?
I am all about making the mirror your friend. I actually do a talk called Making the Mirror Your Friend. And it's a huge thing for people to be able to go to the mirror. And because what do we usually do? We go to the mirror, we nitpick at every single little imperfection. Oh, I wish I could change. I could change this. And if people could go to the mirror and say simple things, and we can say I love you to every single person in our lives as many times a day, but we have the hardest time telling ourselves I love you. And it's the most powerful thing that we can do for ourselves, and especially looking at reflection. And so if you could go to the mirror, whoever's listening to this, I challenge you to go to the mirror every single day for the next 5 days, just 5 days, and say, I love you. And just pay attention to how your body responds, pay attention to how you feel, pay attention to if emotions come up, whatever it is. And after the 5 days, have things changed? Have things shifted? I guarantee something has shifted. It might be little, it might be big. Who knows? There's a scientific fact that if you do this on a continuous basis, you make a conscious decision to go to the mirror every single morning and say, I love you. There's a scientific fact that when you are attracted to something or someone, your pupils dilate. So if you go to the mirror every single morning, I'm sure you can see where I'm going with this. You go to the mirror every single morning and you notice your pupils are starting to dilate. That means you are overriding the fact that you don't love yourself.
Wow.
That means that you are consciously telling yourself that you love yourself. Now, this takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen after 5 days. At least doing it for 5 days and just seeing what kind of shifts happen and then continuing. Now, I know some people, and I talk to some people from different countries, we don't say I love you to even our family. It's okay. Well, go to the mirror and say I like you or say something nice about yourself. Or you could do things like what Mel Robbins says, go high five yourself in the mirror. There's lots of different techniques, but I like to say I love you because I think there's something really powerful about that. The love vibration is the most powerful vibration that we can carry out. And to say that to ourselves and then notice our people dilate.
Beautiful.
That's the creme de la creme. Yeah.
This has been amazing. Thank you so much for being with us today. We really appreciate you and all of your wisdom. And Jeanne and I will take that 5-day challenge.
We will.
Are you up for it, girl?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
I'm going to check in with you then.
Feel free. So, Liza, it's been such a pleasure. You shared so many great ideas and ways for people to feel better about themselves. So, we are always grateful for coaches like you who can help. So, we will put all your details and connections in the show notes so people can find you. But thank you so much again for being our guest today. Thanks for joining us today on Blueprints for Brilliance Coaching Insights. We hope you're leaving this episode with inspiration to take your coaching business and your life to the next level. If you found value in this episode, we would love it if you would subscribe and share it with someone else who you think might benefit from hearing it. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next episode.